At an abandoned hotel, a police squad corners Trinity, who overpowers them with superhuman abilities. She flees, pursued by the police and a group of suited agents capable of similar superhuman feats. She answers a ringing telephone and vanishes. Computer programmer Thomas Anderson, known by his hacking alias Neo, is puzzled by repeated online encounters with the phrase "The Matrix." Trinity contacts him and tells him a man named Morpheus has the answers Neo seeks. A team of agents and police, led by Agent Smith, arrives at Neo's workplace in search of him. Though Morpheus attempts to guide Neo to safety, Neo surrenders rather than risk a dangerous escape. The agents offer to erase Neo's criminal record in exchange for his help with locating Morpheus, who they claim is a national target. When Neo refuses to cooperate, they somehow unrealistically fuse his mouth shut, pin him down, and implant a robotic bug in his abdomen. Neo wakes up from what he believes to be a nightmare. Soon after, Neo is taken by Trinity to meet Morpheus, and she removes the bug from Neo, and he learns the bug was real all along. Morpheus offers Neo a choice between two pills: red to reveal the truth about the Matrix, or blue to make Neo forget everything and return to his former life. Neo takes the red pill, and his reality begins to distort, awakening in a liquid-filled pod among countless other pods containing other humans. He is then brought aboard Morpheus's flying ship, the Nebuchadnezzar. As Neo recuperates from a lifetime of physical inactivity in the pod, Morpheus explains the situation. In the early 21st century, a war broke out between humanity and intelligent machines. After humans blocked the machines' access to solar energy, the machines responded by enslaving mankind and harvesting their bioelectric power while keeping their minds pacified in the Matrix, a shared simulated reality modelled on the world as it was in 1999. In the years following, the remaining free humans took refuge in the underground city of Zion. Morpheus and his crew are a group of rebels who hack into the Matrix to unplug enslaved humans and recruit them. Their understanding of the Matrix's simulated nature allows them to bend its physical laws. Morpheus warns Neo that death within the Matrix kills the physical body too, and explains that the agents are sentient programs that eliminate threats to the system, while machines called Sentinels eliminate rebels in the real world. Neo's prowess during virtual training cements Morpheus's belief that Neo is the One, a human prophesized to free mankind. The group enters the Matrix to visit the Oracle, a prophet-like program who predicted that the One would emerge. She implies to Neo that he is not the One, and warns that he will have to choose between Morpheus's life and his own. Before they can leave the Matrix, agents and police ambush the group, tipped off by Cypher, a disgruntled crew member who has betrayed Morpheus in exchange for a deal to be plugged back into the Matrix to live a comfortable life. To buy time for the others, Morpheus fights Smith and is captured. Cypher exits the Matrix and murders the other crew members as they lie unconscious. Before Cypher can kill Neo and Trinity, crew member Tank regains consciousness and kills Cypher before pulling Neo and Trinity from the Matrix. The agents interrogate Morpheus to learn his access codes to the mainframe computer in Zion, which would allow them to destroy it. Neo resolves to return to the Matrix to rescue Morpheus, as the Oracle prophesied. Trinity insists she accompany him. While rescuing Morpheus, Neo gains confidence in his abilities, performing feats comparable to those of the agents. After Morpheus and Trinity safely exit the Matrix, Smith ambushes and appears to kill Neo. While a group of Sentinels attack the Nebuchadnezzar in the real world, Trinity confesses her love for Neo and says the Oracle told her she would fall in love with the One. Neo is revived in the Matrix, with newfound abilities to perceive and control the Matrix. He easily defeats Smith, prompting the other agents to flee, and he leaves the Matrix just as the ship's electromagnetic pulse disables the Sentinels in the real world. Back in the Matrix, Neo makes a telephone call, promising the machines that he will show their prisoners a world where anything is possible. He hangs up and flies away. 6 months after the events of The Matrix, Neo and Trinity are now romantically involved. Morpheus receives a message from Captain Niobe of the Logos, calling an emergency meeting of all ships of Zion. An army of Sentinels is tunneling towards Zion, and it will reach it within 72 hours. Commander Locke orders all the ships to return to Zion to prepare, but Morpheus asks one ship to remain to contact the Oracle. Within the Matrix, the lone ship's crew is encountered by the former Agent Smith, who copies himself over the body of crew member Bane and uses the phone line to leave the Matrix and enter the real world. In Zion, Morpheus announces the news of the advancing machines. The Nebuchadnezzar leaves Zion and enters the Matrix, where Neo meets the Oracle's bodyguard Seraph, who leads him to her. The Oracle reveals that she is part of the Matrix and instructs Neo to reach its source with the help of the Keymaker. As the Oracle departs, Smith appears, telling Neo that after being defeated by him, he became a rogue program. He demonstrates his ability to clone himself over other inhabitants of the Matrix, including the new upgraded agents. He tries to take over Neo's body but fails, prompting a battle between Neo and many copies of Smith. Neo defends himself but is forced to retreat. Neo, Morpheus and Trinity visit the Merovingian, who is imprisoning the Keymaker. The Merovingian, a rogue program with his own agenda, refuses to let him go. His wife Persephone, seeking revenge on her husband for his infidelity, leads the trio to the Keymaker. Morpheus, Trinity and the Keymaker flee while Neo holds off the Merovingian's henchmen. Morpheus and Trinity try to escape with the Keymaker, pursued by several agents and the Merovingian's chief henchmen, the twins. After a long chase, Trinity escapes, Morpheus defeats the twins, and Neo saves Morpheus and the Keymaker from Agent Johnson. The crews of the Nebuchadnezzar, Vigilant, and Logos help the Keymaker and Neo reach the source. The Logos crew must destroy a power plant, and the Vigilant crew must disable a backup power station to bypass a security system, which will allow Neo to enter the source. Haunted by a vision of Trinity's death, he asks her to remain on the Nebuchadnezzar. The Logos are successful, but the Vigilant is destroyed by a Sentinel. Trinity replaces the Vigilant crew and completes their mission. Agent Thompson corners her, and they fight. As Neo, Morpheus and the Keymaker try to reach the source, the Smiths ambush them. The Keymaker is killed after unlocking the door to the source for Neo. However, Neo learns this is not simply the source. He has entered a new construct. In this construct, Neo meets a program called the Architect, the creator of the Matrix, who explains that as the One, Neo is himself an intentional part of the design of the Matrix, which is now in its 6th iteration. Neo was designed to stop the Matrix's fatal system crash that naturally occurs due to the concept of human choice within it. As with the 5 previous Ones, Neo has a choice. Either reboot the Matrix from the source and pick a handful of survivors to repopulate the soon-to-be-destroyed city of Zion, as his predecessors all did, or go to save the imperiled Trinity, causing the Matrix to crash and killing every human connected to it. Neo chooses the latter, prompting a dismissive response from the Architect, who has never seen the One make this choice before. Neo's vision of Trinity comes true, as she is shot by Agent Thompson while falling off a building. Before she hits the ground, Neo arrives and catches her. He then impossibly breaks the rules of the Matrix and removes the bullet from her chest and restarts her heart. They return to the real world, where Sentinels attack them. The Nebuchadnezzar is destroyed, but the crew escape. As the Sentinels catch up to them, Neo realizes he is able to sense the machines in the real world, and telepathically destroys them, but falls into a coma from the effort. The crew are picked up by another ship, the Hammer. Its captain reveals that other ships defending Zion were wiped out by the machines after someone prematurely activated an EMP. Only one survivor was found, the Smith-possessed Bane. Picking up immediately where Reloaded ended, Neo and Bane still lie unconscious in the medical bay of the ship Hammer. Inside the Matrix, Neo is trapped in a subway station named Mobile Avenue, a transition zone between the Matrix and the real world. He meets a family of programs, including a girl named Sati. The father tells Neo the subway is controlled by the Train Man, a program loyal to the Merovingian. When Neo tries to board a train with the family, the Train Man refuses and overpowers him. Seraph contacts Morpheus and Trinity on behalf of the Oracle, who informs them of Neo's confinement. Seraph, Morpheus and Trinity enter Club Hell, where they confront the Merovingian and force him to release Neo. Troubled by visions of the Machine City, Neo visits the Oracle, who reveals that Smith intends to destroy both the Matrix and the real world. She tells him that everything that has a beginning has an end. After Neo leaves, a large group of Smiths assimilates Sati and Seraph. The Oracle does not resist assimilation, and Smith gains her powers of precognition. In the real world, the crews of the Nebuchadnezzar and the Hammer find and reactivate Niobe's ship, the Logos. They interrogate Bane, who says that he has no recollection of the earlier massacre. As the captains plan their defense of Zion, Neo requests a ship to travel to the Machine City. Motivated by her encounter with the Oracle, Niobe offers him the Logos. Neo departs, accompanied by Trinity. Bane, who has stowed away on the Logos, takes Trinity hostage. Neo realizes that Bane has been assimilated by Smith and a fight ensues. Bane burns Neo's eyes with a power cable, blinding him. Neo discovers that he can still see the machine source code in the real world and uses this ability to kill Bane. Trinity pilots them to the Machine City. Niobe and Morpheus rush towards Zion in the Hammer to aid the human defences. Zion's shipyard is overwhelmed by a horde of sentinels, and the fatally wounded Captain Mifune instructs Kid to open the gate for the Hammer, which he does with the aid of Z. When it arrives, it discharges its EMP, disabling all the sentinels present but also Zion's remaining defences. The humans are forced to retreat and wait for the next attack, thinking it will be their last stand. The Logos is attacked by a wave of machines outside of the Machine City. To avoid the onslaught, they fly above them to the open sky and then crash into a building, fatally wounding Trinity. Neo encounters the leadership of the machines in the form of the Deus Ex Machina. Neo warns that Smith plans to conquer both the Matrix and the real world, and offers to stop Smith in exchange for peace with Zion. The Deus Ex Machina agrees, and the Sentinels shut down, stopping the attack on Zion. The machines plug Neo into the Matrix, whose population has now been entirely assimilated by Smith. The Smith with the Oracle's powers steps forth, telling Neo that he has foreseen his victory against Neo. After a protracted fight, Neo appears to concede defeat and allows himself to be assimilated. Outside the Matrix, the machines send a surge of energy into Neo's body, which inside the Matrix causes the Neo-Smith clone, then all of the other Smith clones, to be destroyed, restoring the Oracle and killing Neo. The Sentinels withdraw from Zion, Morpheus and Niobe embrace, and Neo's body is carried away by the machines. The Matrix is rebooted, and the Architect meets the Oracle in a park. They agree that the peace will last as long as it can, and that those humans who desire it will be offered the opportunity to leave the Matrix. The Oracle tells Sati, who created a beautiful sunrise for Neo, that she thinks they will see Neo again. Seraph asks the Oracle if she knew this would happen. She replies that she did not know, but she believed. A young woman named Bugs learns that the Matrix is running old code in a loop, enacting the moment when Trinity first found Neo within the Matrix. Bugs discovers a program embodying Morpheus and helps free him from the simulation. Way past his life as Neo, Thomas Anderson seems to be revived and is now the creator of a video game series called The Matrix, based on his faint memories as Neo. At a coffee shop, he regularly encounters Tiffany, a married mother with no recollection of her past, on whom Anderson based the game character Trinity. Anderson has created a simulation called a modal to develop game characters. He struggles to separate perceived reality from dreams, a known concern among his co-workers and partner. Thomas's psychoanalyst prescribes him blue pills that he takes each day to suppress the occurrences, but he stops taking them. Meanwhile, as Bugs and Morpheus work to extract Neo from the Matrix, Anderson's business partner regains his memories as Agent Smith. Bugs and Morpheus successfully awaken Neo from the Matrix, and he wakes up in his pod, noticing Trinity confined to another nearby, before being extracted to Bugs' hovercraft, Mnemosyne. Neo is brought to the human city Io, where he reunites with an elderly Niobe. She explains that 60 years have passed in the real world since the machine war ended, and that Neo's allies, including the original Morpheus, have died over time. The peace achieved by Neo's sacrifice lasted for many years, but the large number of humans leaving the Matrix created a serious power shortage, causing the machines to fight over limited resources. Zion was destroyed, though most of its people relocated to Io with the aid of sympathetic machines. Niobe refuses to risk Io's safety to help Neo free Trinity and confines him to his quarters. Bugs and her crewmates free Neo and enter the Matrix to contact Trinity. They are attacked by Smith and other exiled programs, including the Merovingian, but Neo and the Mnemosyne crew defeat them as Neo's abilities return. The group leaves and locates Trinity, but before Neo can talk to her, his therapist appears and immobilizes him by manipulating time. He reveals that he is the Analyst, a program designed to study the human psyche. The Analyst explains that after Neo and Trinity's deaths, he wanted to study Neo's body and his anomalous powers as the One, and convinced his superiors to resurrect both of them. He discovered that due to the One's inherent connection to all humanity in the Matrix, manipulating Neo could make the Matrix produce more energy. Moreover, he found that the code anomaly in Neo was shared in his bond with Trinity, and that by suppressing their memories and keeping them close but always apart, the Matrix generated much more energy. Solving the energy crisis put the Analyst in a position to seize power from the Architect, after which he rebuilt the Matrix to control humans with emotional manipulation, claiming that humans generally believe what they want to believe. Neo's liberation destabilized the system and triggered a failsafe to reboot the Matrix, but the Analyst stalled the reboot by convincing his superiors that threatening to kill Trinity would coerce Neo to return to his pod. Neo and Bugs return to Io and talk to Sati, now a much older program. Seeking to avenge her parents' death at the hands of the machines, Sati helps devise a plan to free Trinity. Back in the Matrix, Neo makes a deal with the Analyst. He will return to his pod if he fails to convince Trinity to leave the Matrix. Tiffany reaffirms her identity as Trinity while talking with Neo. Realizing that he has lost, the Analyst attempts to kill her, but Agent Smith appears and attacks the Analyst, seeking revenge for his own imprisonment. Neo, Trinity, and the others escape in their vehicles, chased through the streets by hordes of bot programs and attack helicopters. As the last ones to be extracted from the Matrix, Neo and Trinity become cornered atop a skyscraper. Holding hands, they leap off and Trinity begins to fly, taking them to safety. With Trinity's newfound control over the Matrix, both return to confront the Analyst. They sarcastically thank him for giving them a second chance by resurrecting them, which they intend to use to remake the Matrix as they see fit. Neo and Trinity then triumphantly fly off into the sky together. If you liked this video and you want to see more Matrix content, then please give this video a like and tell me below what you'd like me to cover next. I'm going to be releasing a brand new Matrix video every single week as well, from now up until the release of the Matrix 5, so make sure you subscribe. My name is George, this is Jam Punch, and I will see you next time.